Hello, good evening. Hope you're doing well. Uh, I'm not doing too bad. In the last video, uh, I noticed I was a little bit more coherent than before. I discussed the path of shamanism as far as getting to know yourself, and the some of the approaches. And one of my ones that I'm most familiar with is Carlos Castaneda and his experiences with Don Juan. And yes, that will appear in the links. Now, one of the things that I felt it was important to do at this point is to explain to you a little bit about sort of my style in this, some of what I feel is important. Right in the beginning, I discussed the fact that we are all star stuff, and that some people think that means we are stars, incarnate stars in animal bodies, of course. Now, the whole point of this is not for me to paint you a picture and direct you to a particular way of being or a particular place in the scheme of things. My whole motivation, my whole aim here is to make as many resources as I can available to you so that you can discover who you are, and then based on that, become all you can be. Be the star you are. Shine, basically. I'm hoping, and if you bear with me and look at the resources as soon as I get the pages up, that I will give you the tools to help you to clarify your understanding of who you are, and then based on that, determine where you want to be. If you're comfortable, not comfortable exactly, but if you are content where you are, if you feel you're in the place that you're supposed to be, that you need to be, that you are fulfilling your purpose in life, then you're good. You don't need to go anywhere. It may be helpful for you to understand a little bit more about yourself, so that you can more effectively be all you can be right where you are. There are many of you who are salt of the earth. There's nothing wrong with being salt of the earth. There's nothing wrong with being a cog in a machine. If that's where you feel you belong. If that's, and I'm not saying that because of outside pressures, but because you really feel that's who you are, and that you do well at it. You find it fulfilling. Not a problem. Most of you who are watching this, who are with me here, feel that there's more, that you want to be more, you want to do more, you want to have more. And that's fine. However, what I'm trying to do here is to help you to see who you are and then how to be all you can be. I'm not aiming you at being a master marketer or being a successful politician or being just simply rich. No. I want you to have something much more important. I want you to become aware of who you are and how to fulfill yourself, how to achieve your purpose in life, how to discover your purpose in life, how to formulate visions that help you put the pieces in place to get from where you are right now to a place where you are more fulfilled, where you are more aware of who you are, where you integrate your purpose in life with what you're doing mundanely, in terms of work, in terms of the level of resources you command, including your income, I want you to have more control over those things, but I also want you to keep them in perspective. And you can't have a perspective without context, and that context doesn't come from the outside. From the outside, people will tell you, oh, you should be this, or you should do that, or there's something wrong with you if you don't pursue this goal, or there's something wrong with you if you don't live this way, or believe in this, or believe in that. That's all BS, okay? That's all stuff you don't really need, but it's also stuff that you have to deal with. And over time, a lot of that stuff gets sort of impressed into your way of looking at yourself, into your lifestyle, into your way of living, into the things that you pursue, into the things that you think you need, into what you want, into what you don't want. No, no, no. That means that you are not necessarily in charge of your life. You are not necessarily being who you are and all you can be. You're actualizing, realizing, manifesting somebody else's dream. And that dream may or may not be good for you. That dream may limit you incredibly. That dream may actually do you disservice, do you harm, keep you from seeing who you are, keep you from being all you can be. My whole point is to try and give you the tools, or at least the tools that I'm aware of, and I mean the things that work for me, to help you to get to that point where you can be all you can be, where you see how to do it, where you have a much better understanding of who you are, and you're much more aware of where the boundaries are between what's an expression of you and what's something that you're sort of promoting or doing because somebody else or some outside influence has impressed upon you that, oh, you have to do this. That, well, if you don't have lots of money, that must mean you're not a good person. That's all BS. On the other hand, there's another current coming in from the outside that says, well, if you have lots of money, there's something wrong with you. That you're morally corrupt somehow. That's BS too. As I said before, when we talked about the analogy between people and stars, there's a natural hierarchy of things. There's, depending on the amount of star power you have, that has a lot to do with how much influence you have, the resources you command, and the power that you are entrusted with or that you acquire in our system. Excuse me. Water. Yes, water is an excellent idea. So, for those of you who want direction, follow somebody who'll give it to you. But realize at the same time that you're following their direction. You're not necessarily following your nature. And their dream will not necessarily be fulfilling for you. And in fact, their dream may not even necessarily be good for you. What I'm trying to do is to help you get to a point where you can see the difference, where you can actually make a judgment about it and say, okay, I want to realize that dream. It's my dream. It's my vision. And it's a direct expression of who I am, and it will fulfill me. That's where I want to get you to. And that's where I want to get me to. I mean, some of this stuff I struggle with just as much as you do. But the thing is, I want you to understand this concept of boundaries, okay? About being firm about your boundaries, about not letting anybody or anything push you in a direction that's unnecessary, and push you in a direction that's not in compatible with who you really are. And of course, the first step is, yeah, let's look into who you really are. I mean, I'm an astrologer. I can help you with that if you want to use my services. On the other hand, there are all kinds of self-help books. There's the path of shamanism. There's depth psychology. And I mean, there are abundant resources. And I also mentioned the humoral theory, which I think I sort of botched into my presentation, but that will become much clearer. Excuse me, I'm itchies. That will become much clearer in the resource links and some of the things that I will put up there. For those of you who want to further explore the humoral approach to self-understanding. There's another aspect of the humoral approach that's very useful in traditional medicine and quite handy in astrology. But we don't need to go that far. However, as you look through the resources, you may find a thread that you want to follow in that direction. And hey, I know something about those things. I'm not, it's not something that like I have a degree in or anything like that. But I've read it, I've used it, I'm somewhat familiar with it, and maybe I can answer some of your questions on it. And most of the rest of the stuff that I'm presenting is resources. I mean, I'm not presenting anything that I'm totally unfamiliar with. Some things I'm more familiar with than others. Some things I'm learning right along with you. Most of it is based on my recent experiences and the insights that I've gotten from that. And I'm seeing all these approaches out there, and it's like, wait a minute. The end goal of this approach is to get you to form a picture in a range that's the picture that the person or agency or church or marketing expert or whatever, it's the picture they want you to have, because in one way or another, it's beneficial to them. Whether or not it's beneficial to you is a whole other question. But you can't really answer that question if you don't have boundaries, if you don't develop some discernment. And that's going to be based on who you are. Whether you're content where you are, and even if you are content where you are, some of this stuff will be useful to you. And especially in the more practical. I mean, what's practicality is sometimes a matter of perception, but some of the stuff as far as software, as far as books, as far as products, some of it, even if you're not planning to make any big changes, even if the only change that you're planning to make is to be more aware of what your life's purpose is and to get more fulfillment out of life. If that's as far as you go, I mean, you don't care about more money. I mean, of course, we all think more money would be nice, but it's if it's not a big deal to you, and that, or if you don't care about more social contacts, or if you don't care about more status or more authority, or just more control over your life, that's fine. You don't have to go anywhere. But if you do want these things, if you do want to become more of all you can be, if you do want to clarify your self-knowledge and your purpose, and you want to make sure that you have the discernment and the tools to set your boundaries and enforce them, then you may want to hang with me for a while, because I'll have more resources along the way. And one of those, a big set of those resources is going to have to do with, how do you improve your financial position? But that's only one part of the picture. And if you don't have the motivation, the vision, uh, to give you a why for doing that sort of thing, then your probabilities of success are not as high, and you'll start feeling like a gerbil on a wheel again. I mean, it's like you're a gerbil on a wheel punching the clock. You're a gerbil on the wheel doing, marketing activities every day, or doing religious activities every day, or whatever. Whatever your wheel is. It's like, wait a minute. You got to ask yourself, is being on this wheel compatible with who I am? And will it fulfill me? I mean, there doesn't matter, and you don't have to, it doesn't matter what wheel you're on. You don't really, I mean, there are advantages and disadvantages of staying on the wheel, and if you're content on the wheel, fine. I just want you to realize that that's where you are, and to see ways to make the best of it, to be as effective in wherever you are and wherever you are content to stay as you can be, so that you can basically be all you can be. You can let your star shine. That's the whole point of this this exercise, this series of videos. Now let's see. This is number 6, so I'm ending my series for week 3. And that's probably about enough for this one. I wanted to clarify those things because some of you may be wondering about, well, where's he taking us? What's the picture he wants us to realize? I want you to realize your picture. I don't want you to realize my picture. I don't want you to realize your family's picture. I don't want you to realize your politician's picture. I don't want you to realize your church's picture. I want you to realize your picture. If it includes elements from those things, that's fine. But if it doesn't, then you have to make some changes. If you want to, if you want to realize your picture, if you want to be all you can be, if you want to have your picture be an expression of who you are, that's where I'm going with all this. And for now, I've said enough. My time is running out, but there will be more videos. Stay tuned and have a great night, day, whatever it is where you're watching this. Till next time.